Okay, just to get it out of the way, I do not like trap. I really do not like trap. It just irritates me. It's creepy me. It's creeping me out, and I don't want to see it in my anime unless it's part of the plot of the anime. Like, I don't know, maybe or on High School Host Club. That stuff was fine because that's what they were going for, but not in Sword Art Online. Kirito actually playing along, being a girl, and trying to trick the guys. I mean, even as playful as it was just ew. I don't want to see that. No, stop that. But either way, after watching this episode of Sword Art Online, I actually went to see some comments underneath the video, and almost every single one said the same thing. Stop talking and get to the action. Now, for the most part, they might have been kidding. Especially with the cliffhanger. There's like, oh, why would they didn't need to have a cliffhanger if they just stopped talking and actually get down to the action, to the actual shooting game. And to a certain extent, I agree. I mean, I enjoy conversations, I enjoy dialogue, I enjoy creating character. But when that dialogue is pretty much the same thing we've been hearing for the last 2 episodes, and it's bad. We shouldn't have to repeat it over and over again. And again, it is Kirito's problems. And okay, by now it's probably no secret. I really don't like Kirito that very much. To a certain extent, I dislike him. I don't outright hate him, like I want him to die or I want to punch him in the face. It's just some parts of this episode were so great, but then when Kirito came in, it made me think about what this show would have been if Kirito was not involved. I sometimes pretend like Kirito's not in the show. All I see is Shinon playing this Gun Gale online, and Death Gun is targeting her. That's all I'm seeing. And you know what? It's fucking fantastic. It is so great. It has created a new world, new game, a new threat, a new character with great backstory, and an incredible villain with a very intimidating aura. But then there's season 1, coming in with this somewhat messed up execution, and here he comes, trying to push his way into season 2, and that's what it feels like to me. But either way, to a certain extent, yeah, there was a little too much talking about things we've already heard for the last 2 episodes. You can say you can give the excuse that he's trying. This time is different because he's explaining to Shinon, so that way she knows more about Kirito. But I honestly don't think she needs to know more about Kirito. She already pretty much kind of guesses that Kirito has a tragic backstory, and he's tortured, but he's strong, so she has to take him out. She doesn't really need to know too much about his backstory. That's what I feel like. But either way, yeah, the ending didn't need to be a cliffhanger. It just could have been like, get it over with quick. And the new Pale Rider was fantastic, and the fact that Death Gun was able to take him out as well, or at least neutralize him, again, just amps up the threat of Death Gun. He's just a great villain. However, I also don't like the assumption that Kirito is making about him and me have tried to kill each other before. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're just letting your fear help you jump to that conclusion. All we know is Death Gun knows who Kirito is. He knows his backstory. He knows where he came from. He knows his skill set. He knows the legend and the accomplishments that he made in Sword Art Online, and that he was a member of Laughing Coffin. That doesn't necessarily mean you yourself met him or tried to kill him once. That's just your fear talking. And so, yeah, that constant that I have a connection with Death Gun. Like, we don't know that. Again, we don't know that. There are probably members of Laughing Coffin you never met who had never met you in person. But yeah, it gets a little grating. And really, Kirito, get over it. I'm serious. I just get over it already. I mean, even Batman doesn't brood over his past as often as you. I mean, you have all these friends. You have a beautiful girlfriend, as useless as she's become pretty much right now. I mean, she's not doing anything. But you still have a beautiful girlfriend who loves you. You have all these friends around you who want to have fun with you and have adventures with you. And you're running away from them to put yourself back in the line of fire so you can continue being traumatized and like, oh my god, I have this obstacle to overcome. It's just... Brooding can only go so far before it becomes, intrusive in enjoying a show and being entertained. And like I said, Kirito is the one bringing in all that angst and drama that doesn't need to be added to the already incredibly heavy backstory of Shinon and the threat of Death Gun. I mean, that's already heavy enough. We don't need Kirito and his little whiny ass coming in bringing in even more of a burden. I am hating too much on Kirito, I know. And maybe as a character he would have been great. He's not so bad. It's just the way they're writing him and trying to introduce a reason for him to be so dedicated to taking out Death Gun seems a little too pushy and just gets in the way of a fantastic show. But yeah, like I said, when it's not Kirito focused and it's just like seeing all these side characters out there using their own unique styles to try to win this tournament, and just the shooting game, the game mechanics, the gameplay, the rules, the tournament, and Shinon, and then Death Gun being as threatening as he is, and now Shinon is part of one of his targets. All of that would have made a fantastic show. All of that would just be gloriously constructed. It was just beautiful. I would have just sat there watching the show in complete amazement every episode. And then it's just Kirito coming in and trying to take the spotlight. And I don't know, I felt like Sword Art Online, with all these new games, AFLO or AFO, GGO, it could have been an anthology series. We see Kirito's adventures in Sword Art Online. Great. Done. If it was, adapted well to the book, that would have been fantastic. And then AFO, we just saw some of Suguru's adventures in there. Fantastic. And then, GGO, third season, would have been all about Shinon. Fantastic. It could have been a great anthology series and building this whole new universe, like the first season hinted at the end, where like all these games connected, into this big old internet world, and different heroes for different games, and then finally this I don't know, maybe a virus that's threatening all the game worlds, and all these heroes from different games have to band together, and it's this giant team of superheroes. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just me daydreaming about what this could have been, and I shouldn't do that. I should look at it as to what it is now. And for what it is, like I said, when it's focused on the game and Shinon and Death Gun, I love it. I just love it. When it's focused on Kirito with his problems that he brought along with him from first season, that weren't even in the first season, they just wrote it in. I mean, again, I know it's from the light novels and it's better adapted. It's just, I don't know. Once you write it a certain way in first season, you gotta stick with that way. You just can't introduce new scenes. It just feels weird and forced. But again, either way, I did like the episode, as long as I was able to ignore Kirito. And I know I can't do that for long, because he is the main character and he's the one who's going to take down Death Gun. But yeah, I agree with some of the comments. Enough with the talking. If it's going to be the same thing as the previous episodes have been doing, and actually get down to actually shooting people, especially shooting Death Gun when he's just standing there still, not doing anything. He probably doesn't even notice they're there. So come on, shoot him in the head. But yeah, again, I did like the episode. I'm really trying really hard to like this series, to like this season. And at a certain point, maybe I'll be able to overcome Kirito as an obstacle. But so far, it's still just a big old brick wall in my way. It's just constantly getting. I'm trying to push the brick through so actually I can peek through the other side when a great show is going on. But yeah, I like the episode. I hope next week's episode is gonna be a lot better, more action packed. Focus on Death Gun. Get to getting Death Gun, and so less trap. No more trap. I don't like trap. It's just creepy. Don't do it again. Don't do it again.